The WNBA offseason is always full of surprises. Every year, teams make moves that can alter the landscape of the league. Players switch teams, new talents are drafted, and strategies are redefined. But amidst the usual hustle and bustle, there are moments that stand out, moments that redefine the very essence of the game. But this year, one move sent shockwaves through the league. It wasn't just another trade, it was a seismic shift that had everyone talking. Analysts, fans, and players alike were left in awe, trying to grasp the full impact of what had just happened. Brianna Turner, a defensive powerhouse, left the Chicago Sky to join the Indiana Fever. Turner, known for her incredible shot-blocking ability and defensive prowess, had been a cornerstone for the Sky. Her departure was not just a loss of a player, but a significant shift in the team's dynamics. This wasn't just a trade, it felt like the changing of the guard. The move symbolized a new era for both teams involved. For the Chicago Sky, it was a moment of introspection and rebuilding. For the Indiana Fever, it was a bold statement of intent. For fans of Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky, the news was jarring. Reese, a rising star and fan favorite, had built a strong connection with the Chicago faithful. The thought of her playing without Turner by her side was unsettling for many. Reese, never one to hide her feelings, took to social media with a simple, "Wow." It was a reaction that spoke volumes. Her followers quickly picked up on the sentiment, flooding her feed with comments and questions. It was a reaction that spoke volumes. The emotional weight of the trade was palpable, not just for the players involved, but for the entire WNBA community. Everyone knew that this was more than just a roster change. It was a pivotal moment in the league's history. The WNBA was changing right before our eyes. The league, known for its competitive spirit and dynamic play, was entering a new chapter. Teams were evolving and the balance of power was shifting in unexpected ways. Turner's departure left a void in Chicago. The Sky had to rethink their strategy and find new ways to maintain their competitive edge. It was a challenging time, but also an opportunity for new leaders to emerge. It also signaled a shift in power. The Indiana Fever, who had long been considered underdogs, were now in the spotlight. With Turner on their roster, they had the potential to become a dominant force in the league. The Indiana Fever, once an afterthought, were suddenly serious contenders. The team's management and fans were buzzing with excitement, envisioning a future where the Fever could challenge the league's top teams. And Angel Reese knew it. She understood the significance of the trade and what it meant for the league. Her focus and determination were evident as she prepared for the upcoming season. The question on everyone's mind was, could Indiana capitalize on this momentum? The Fever had the talent and the drive, but the road ahead was still uncertain. Fans and analysts alike were eager to see how the season would unfold. The answer, as it turned out, was a resounding yes. The Indiana Fever rose to the occasion, proving that they were a force to be reckoned with. The trade had not only shaken the WNBA, but had also set the stage for an exciting new era in women's basketball. Angel Reese is known for her honesty, so when Brianna Turner joined the Indiana Fever, Reese didn't hold back. "Loyalty is fleeting," she quipped on social media. It was a playful jab, but it revealed a deeper truth about the WNBA. In a league with constant roster changes, loyalty is a luxury few teams can afford. Players move on, teams rebuild, and the only constant is change. Reese's comment resonated with fans. It was a reminder that in professional sports, nothing is guaranteed. The Fever's aggressive moves were a clear sign of their championship aspirations. Reese, however, wasn't about to back down from a challenge. She knew that the Sky had work to do, and she was ready to put in the effort. The Indiana Fever weren't messing around. Their goal was clear: win a championship, and they were assembling a team to do just that. Brianna Turner's arrival was just the tip of the iceberg. The Fever already had a strong core. Aaliyah Boston, the reigning MVP, was a force to be reckoned with. Caitlin Clark, the flashy point guard, was a walking highlight reel. And now they had Brianna Turner anchoring their defense. Adding Turner to the mix created a formidable lineup. The Fever were quickly becoming the team to beat, and the league was taking notice. Indiana had transformed themselves from underdogs to frontrunners. Their message was clear: they were coming for the championship. Brianna Turner walked into a welcoming embrace in Indiana. The Fever organization, from the coaches to the players, were thrilled to have her on board. They recognized her talent and the crucial role she would play in their championship aspirations. Turner expressed her excitement about joining the Fever. She spoke highly of the team's culture, their commitment to winning, and their investment in women's basketball. It was clear that she felt valued and appreciated. Her new teammates welcomed her with open arms. They understood the impact she would have on their game. Her defensive prowess and veteran experience were invaluable assets. Turner's arrival brought a sense of optimism to the Fever. They believed they had all the pieces in place to make a serious run for the title. While the Indiana Fever were celebrating their hard-fought victory, the Chicago Sky were left picking up the pieces of a season that had gone awry. The contrast between the two teams couldn't have been more stark. Brianna Turner's departure left a gaping hole in their roster, a void that was felt both on and off the court. Her defensive prowess and leadership were irreplaceable, and the team struggled to find a rhythm without her, and Angel Reese wasn't afraid to call out her team's struggles. She spoke passionately about the need for accountability and the importance of every player stepping up. Her words resonated with fans and teammates alike. The Sky had missed the playoffs the previous season, a bitter pill to swallow for a team with championship aspirations. The missed opportunities and close losses haunted them, and the pressure to turn things around was immense. It was a bitter disappointment for a team with championship aspirations. The fans, who had been so hopeful, were left disheartened. The empty seats in the stadium were a stark reminder of the challenges ahead. And now, they were losing key players while their rivals were loading up. The Indiana Fever's celebrations were a painful contrast to the Sky's struggles. The gap between the two teams seemed to be widening. Reese, while fiercely loyal to her team, expressed her frustration. She knew that the Sky had the potential to be great, but they needed to make some significant changes. Her determination was evident in every game, every practice. She knew that the Sky needed to make some moves if they wanted to compete with the league's elite. The pressure was on. The front office had to act quickly and decisively to bring in new talent and rebuild the team's confidence. Chicago's front office faced a daunting task. They needed to find the right mix of players, balancing experience with youthful energy. The head coach and staff were constantly strategizing, looking for ways to turn the tide. They needed to find a way to rebuild their roster and stay competitive in a rapidly changing league. The new player introductions brought a glimmer of hope, but the road ahead was still uncertain. The question was, could they do it? The fans, ever hopeful, continued to support their team, believing that with the right moves and a bit of luck, the Chicago Sky could rise again. The journey was far from over, and the struggle was real. The Underdog's bite. Despite the challenges facing her team, Angel Reese remained optimistic. She embraced the underdog role. She knew that the Sky might not be the favorites, but they were far from finished. Reese thrives on proving doubters wrong. She's a competitor at heart, and she wasn't about to let the Fever's moves intimidate her. In fact, she saw it as a challenge. The Sky might not have the same star power as the Fever, but they had something else heart. Reese knew that their chemistry and determination could take them far. Chicago might have been down, but they were not out. Reese was ready to lead them back to the playoffs and prove that they were still a force to be reckoned with. A team built for a championship. The Indiana Fever's intentions were clear. They were no longer content with just participating in the league. They had a vision, a mission, and a burning desire to rise to the top. The Fever were ready to make a statement. They were done with rebuilding. The years of restructuring and rethinking their strategy had come to an end. Now it was time to execute their plan with precision and determination. They were done with mediocrity. The days of settling for average performances were behind them. The Fever were ready to elevate their game to new heights, driven by an unyielding commitment to excellence. They were building a team for one purpose, to win a championship. Every decision, every practice, every game was a step towards that ultimate goal. The Fever were laser-focused on achieving greatness, and they were pulling out all the stops. With Aaliyah Boston, Caitlin Clark, and Brianna Turner leading the way, the Fever had a formidable trio of young stars. These players brought energy, skill, and a relentless drive to win, and Brianna Turner leading the way, they were a force to be reckoned with. Each of these players had proven themselves on the court, and together they formed a dynamic and unstoppable unit. The Fever had assembled a trio of young stars, but they didn't stop there. They knew that a championship team needed more than just young talent, but they didn't stop there. They understood that experience was just as crucial as youthful energy. The Fever sought to create a balanced team that could handle any challenge thrown their way. They added veteran experience to the mix, bringing in players who knew what it took to win at the highest level. These seasoned athletes provided leadership, guidance, and a wealth of knowledge, bringing in players who knew what it took to win at the highest level. The veterans were not just mentors, they were integral parts of the team, ready to contribute on and off the court. The Fever's front office was aggressive in free agency, signing players who could contribute immediately. They scoured the market for the best talent, ensuring that every new addition would strengthen the team, signing players who could contribute immediately. The Fever's strategy was clear: build a team that could compete at the highest level from day one. They were building a team with the perfect blend of youth and experience, talent and leadership. This combination was designed to create a cohesive unit capable of achieving their championship dreams. Indiana's message was clear. They were coming for the championship, and they were coming for it now. The Fever were not just aiming to compete, they were determined to dominate, and they were coming for it now. The Fever's journey was just beginning, but their destination was set. They were on a mission to bring the championship home to Indiana. The Clark factor. Caitlin Clark is a generational talent. Her arrival in the WNBA was met with unprecedented hype, and she lived up to the billing, dazzling fans with her playmaking and scoring prowess. Clark's impact on the Fever was immediate. She brought an energy and excitement that was infectious. Her ability to create her own shot and find open teammates made everyone around her better. But Clark was more than just a scorer. She was a leader. She had a knack for taking over games when it mattered most, and she had a championship mentality. With Clark running the show, the Fever had the potential to be unstoppable. She was the missing piece, the catalyst that could take them to the promised land. A new era in the WNBA? The WNBA is a league on the rise. With its growing popularity and influx of young talent, the future is bright. And the Indiana Fever's bold moves signaled a potential shift in power. The league is witnessing a new era of competitiveness. Teams are no longer content with simply making the playoffs. They're aiming for championships, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to get there. The Fever's aggressive approach put the rest of the league on notice. It sent a message that they were here to stay, and they weren't afraid of anyone. The 2025 WNBA season promised to be one for the ages. The competition was fierce, the stakes were high, and the Indiana Fever were ready to make history.